In 2012, at the Lord of Mercy Hospital in Kenya, my aunt was in the ICU fighting for her life. Later that day, we only brought back the newborn baby, but not my aunt. She had suffered postpartum complications due to domestic violence and gender-based negligence. Sadly, at the end of the day, she passed away. According to the UN Women, in 2020, 81,000 women and girls were killed globally. Around 58% of these were killed at the hands of their intimate partner or their family member. This means a girl or a woman is killed every 11 minutes at their home. These are not just numbers. Every single unit represents a person like Agnes Tirop, a Kenyan World Marathon record holder who was stabbed to death by her husband last October. A person like Osinachi, a famous Nigerian singer who was brutalized to death by her husband this April. And the list continues. And we all know someone or we have been victims of gender-based violence. And I know this is so disappointing, but it is not surprising. Because, like many other communities in the world, Kenyan communities have embraced this epidemic of gender-based violence and made it part of their culture. The big question is, why do people still hold on to cultures that diminish women? Often people say it is our culture, which means things have always been done this way. But we all know this culture spins around men's control, entitlement, and privilege that men have over women. Right now, control means battering a woman so that she is submissive. Right now, entitlement means mutilating women's genitals to control their sexuality and their bodies. Right now, privilege means denying women economic empowerment and expecting them to stay at home. It is quite strange that our modern world features aeroplanes, but many women have their movement restricted by men. Our modern world features the internet, Instagram, Facebook, yet a woman's voice does not matter. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we all felt what it is like to be cut off, restricted, and powerless. We battled with loneliness, depression, and anxiety. But with COVID, we developed vaccines to escape this prison. Imagine what it feels for a woman like Winnie, a Kenyan survivor of rape who was rescued last week, to live in such a prison for most of her life. What about the women who haven't yet been rescued? Where is their vaccine? Where is their way out of depression, loneliness, and anxiety? Where is their way out of that? And I know I have just been talking about Kenya, but we all know that this situation is not only limited to Kenya. As we can see with the prospect of the Roe v. Wade being overturned, this is a global problem. If we want to see change for the better, criticism isn't enough. We need to take action. So much focus is usually on the victims, but how can we go about reducing a crime if we do not focus on the perpetrators of the crime? We need to change the mindset of men. We can pass all the laws that we want, but if we do not change minds, nothing is going to happen. We cannot accept a culture that considers men superior and then turn around in surprise when women's rights are violated. The two are connected. We need to define what control, entitlement, and privilege mean for men. Real control is when women like Winnie are seen as equal partners in a marriage. Real entitlement is when women like Winnie have autonomy over their bodies and sexuality. Real privilege is when women like Winnie are economically empowered, as it increases productivity and economic growth for everyone. If we do not redefine these terms, we will continue poisoning ourselves by manufacturing sociopaths as a result of trauma caused by gender-based violence. Right now, I'm working with Usikimye Kenya, which means do not be silent, to raise funds to reintegrate survivors of gender-based violence back into the society. I have previously worked to support teenage mothers in my village, and I've worked to tutor girls and empower them to seek educational opportunities. And I've seen how small investments of time and resources can end the cycle of poverty and violence. I want girls in Kenya to be educated so that they become independent. I want women in Kenya to be economically empowered so they do not have to rely on men to survive. I want girls and women to live their lives free of gender-based violence so that no one has to die like my aunt did. I want children to be raised in families that value women. One of the reasons why my mom could support me after my dad passed away is because my dad has always been a staunch feminist. The fight to gender equality, just like gender equality itself, must be a partnership between men and women. Because when women are seen as equal partners, men benefit too. The economy grows faster. The labor force increases. We thrive. Economies thrive. Poverty ends. And women like my aunt, like Winnie, like Agnes, like Ostinachi, like me, like you, can live happy, fulfilling lives. Thank you.